All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Ravi Verma. Great to have you here with us for another episode of the our webinar from Human-Centered Tech Transformation, another webinar in our meetup. I'm trying to locate my camera feed, but I don't know where it is. So I apologize for that. It's here somewhere. Never mind. Okay. Um, Let me give you a quick rundown of what to expect a roadmap. We'll start with intros, Nikhil and me. We'll talk about the goal. So we'll begin with the end in mind. So we are laser focused. A little bit of housekeeping. We'll tell you a little bit about our meetup. Our next event, we published it a couple of days ago. It's tied to today's event. So if you want to continue the journey, please mark your calendars for the next one. We'll talk about the sponsor. We'll go into the presentation and then we'll wrap up. And I have the chat panel open here on the other monitor. I have the Q&A panel. So I'll periodically be looking at another monitor in case if anyone has any questions along the way, I'll try my best to notice them and to address them. And when I'm presenting, Nikhil, if you can keep track of that, and I'll do the same when you're presenting.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about intros. So I can get started. My name is Ravi Verma. I'm the founder at orgwhisperers.com. I'm a trauma-informed systems coach, and I help tech organizations navigate change. So, Nikhil, what would you like our attendees to know about you?
Hey, hi. I'm Nikhil. So I'm a pure technologist. So I've been working into technology for quite some time. I like to explore things, but right now what I'm exploring into is how I can connect the product world or the user side and technology side. So that's where I'm trying to work on. So yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Thank you, Nikhil. And then if we are not already connected, if you like, we can connect on LinkedIn. And if you happen to have any questions, you can send us a direct message on LinkedIn after this webinar. Okay, what are the goals? So the goals are, this is the promise that Nikhil and I are making to you. By the end of this session, we will give you 4 concrete steps to align hybrid teams of AI agents and people towards a shared purpose. And we are going to give you an alignment prompt, and you will see the evolution of the alignment prompt. So what we're going to do is we will give you 4 versions of the alignment prompt. We'll start with MVP 1, and then along at every step in the presentation, as we introduce a new idea, you will see a refined version of the prompt. So by the time we finish, you'll have version 3 or 4. We'll give you some references. We'll put them in the chat panel, some links if you want to continue your learning journey. And then if you want more help, you can contact either Nikhil or me for a diagnostic or a free diagnostic consultation. So here are some questions that were posted on the meetup page. So thank you everyone for posting the questions. I can see from your display names that some of the people who posted a question are on the call right now. So one person said, I've not worked on a hybrid team, but I'm curious how this can be done effectively, where the human and agent productivity are defined and measurable. We're going to address that in the presentation. AI and real time lining up with goals and deadlines. So, definitely, we are going to talk about the goals part in this presentation. I see this as a future problem. So, maybe the conflict between human beings and AI agents, differences of opinion could be a future problem. And the techniques that we are sharing, they might help you in resolving conflicts between human beings, which is probably a present problem for most of us. There are a few items which might be better covered in our next webinar. So here are some questions. Who is responsible for managing conflicting agents and how? Collaboration, siloed efforts, hurt feelings. So we'll cover some of the interpersonal aspects related to emotions and group dynamics in our next webinar, which is on September 24th, 11 a.m. Central, 18 prompts to intentionally design team culture in the AI age. I have a feeling that this siloed efforts will be covered today, but it will also additionally be covered in the next webinar. So, some housekeeping. If you've joined our sessions and other webinars, you probably are familiar with this. Session is being recorded. Unless there are any glitches, I'll post it on our YouTube channel. You'll be in listen only mode because we got Zoom bombed some time ago. And then the Zoom bomber taught me a very important lesson to disable participation. So I'm sorry about that. Nikhil and I are monitoring the Q&A panel and the chat panel. If you have reactions, if you have questions, please engage with us. And not all questions will be answered, but we will give you an opportunity to request a free diagnostic session. We'll try our best to answer as many of your unanswered questions in a short call. Uh, and then if you feel we can help you, then we are always available for paid consultations. And the recording should be available on YouTube. About our meetup, this will be the 12th year, I think. Started as Agile DevOps TFW. I rebranded to Human Centered Tech Transformation. My goal is while we are fascinated by technology, I would love for us to not forget about human beings and not leave behind human beings who have less power and less privilege. So I want to have a humanistic conversation here. And we are usually on a monthly cadence. I prefer Thursday, 11 a.m. Central. Very rarely I do in-person meetups in Dallas. Attendance has really gone down. So if I do meet in Dallas, it'll be around 6 p.m. in the evening. And the recordings are on YouTube. There are a couple of ways that you can join. Some of you may have registered on our meetup page. Some of you may have registered through our LinkedIn page. Either way is fine. And Nikhil just created a page on Luma. So we might, if you prefer Luma, you may be able to see our events there as well. What's the next event? The next event, like I said, September 24th, 18 prompts to intentionally design team culture. For me, there's probably a lot of emotions and tension running through your team right now, especially if you're using AI. People may be scared that if I start using AI, are they going to fire me? And I remember back from the days of outsourcing, similar thoughts passed through the minds of people where they were asked to train the outsourced team. And they are probably wondering, if I train this person, am I going to get fired? Am I going to lose my job? Am I training my replacement? So there is a human aspect to AI, and whether you are planning to let people go after they finish training AI agents or using AI features, or whether you are planning to keep them, I think it's important to have the conversation because people are not stupid. If you don't talk about it, it will subvert your goals because part of the tokens in the brain of the human being will be how can I do the bare minimum so I don't get fired? And the other part of the tokens are being spent trying to figure out how can I not train this AI agent to be so good that it replaces me? So you're going to leave money on the table if you don't tackle this head on. So we will share some techniques next month. All right, this meetup is sponsored by my company. I'm rebranding or repositioning what I do and what our company does. So we help leaders in three areas: improve their purpose, grow their people, and grow their profits. So a lot of times conflicts are because there's not a clarity around what is the purpose of the company. Everybody has a different idea, and that creates a lot of conflict. So today we are going to dive into the purpose aspect of what we do and give you a taste of how we can help companies get alignment on the purpose. So this is what we do. Uh, we are launching a new workshop. It's called the 3 Ps of business growth. Step one, define your purpose. We'll help you fill out or co-create a purpose map. I'm going to give you an example in today's webinar. Step two, inspire your people. This is about intentional design and nurturing of your culture. This will be the topic of the next webinar. And the third is grow your profits, or if you're a nonprofit, manage your payables. We'll briefly touch upon the profit map today, but maybe in the future we'll have a more detailed webinar. So this is kind of like the backbone of our approach. Some real world outcomes our clients have created: reducing time to market by 95%, growing customer satisfaction NPS by 150%, 85% increase in profit or EBITDA, 80% sprint goals achieved. So if any of these goals seem relevant, you're curious, hey Ravi, how did your customer do that? And if you were to help me and my company, what would you do? So we can have an exploratory conversation. If you're curious about our real world case studies, then you can go to our website orgwhisperers.com and you've got real world case studies. Okay. And if you can help, would love to contact you. Would love for you to contact us and be in touch. All right. So let's go into the presentation. I'm going to give control to Nikhil. Nikhil and I are going to pass the ball back and forth. And I am just giving him the controls. So Nikhil, ball is in your hands.
Hey, thanks, Ravi. Hey, hi, good morning, good evening, guys. So today's topic is about how to align hybrid teams. Like as we all seen around us that it's apparent that in future we'll be working with a hybrid team of humans plus AI agents. And for humans, we had some onboarding style or onboarding way to get things done, to align, etc. But how this will happen with the AI agents, and so that's is something which we might just touch base today as well, because they all need to align on the shared purpose, right? So we used to have let's say strategy presentations or milestones or vision presentations, etc. So how does it translates to the AI agents? So we started on this journey. So last our webinar was on don't burn your AI budget on some like solving wrong problems. So in that we went through a story of yeah, let me um, yeah, all right. So last month we went through the story of Conco, which is a contact center platform with number one into their industry and good renewal rates, etc. So, but they had issues, and then we'll look into it. It's a very good company, but what some major let's say metric giving them a hard time. So overall wait time to reach to human was 8 minutes, and that resulted into other issues like okay, customers complaining that okay, fix that, otherwise we are leaving. Others are pressuring them that okay, we need to answer to like we need to have our AI based workflows or AI to be added, otherwise competitors are going to replace us. So it was just one number, but what everyone is seeing, and then that's what everyone was focusing on. So they started with solution that okay, we need to replace AI agents, human agents with AI, and so like seen somewhere shipped, and then all it is done. So no humans in the queue, so no queue, no wait. So yeah, also it costs less, right? So everyone gets what they were asking for. So month one was flawless. Everything worked as they were expecting. But then later on, they started seeing some issues, like things were going down, there are escalations, complaints, and whatnot, right? So everything. So what they realized, and I'm just doing a quick recap of that last webinar. Like this, they were solving a wrong problem. They amplified some existing problem and then created something new. So that happened. So everything what they were focusing was there, but then they were solving wrong problem altogether. Like they didn't went into details of why that problem was there, or why customers were complaining, what they were looking to from that. So what we are going to look at today is so with these numbers, Conco was confused, surprised, like, okay, what should we do? So what they've actually done was their main retention was the customer, attention to customer, and what they replaced it with the, let's say, attrition issue of having AI agents talking with customers. And then what all happened. So that's what we covered. So all this was avoidable if they had gone through like certain set of rules or questions, explorations before they started going into the solution. So they did retrospective and found out what they could have done. So instead of just rushing towards solution or like uh, looking at just the problem in the single dimension, they should introspect it, understand it, what's happening. They should know their purpose, like okay, why we are doing certain things. Don't get let's say very attracted towards the solution because ultimately we are serving the user and we are not serving our solution from that. Start with goal, start having way to measure it, have baseline reading as well as then you know that whether you are progressing or not. uh, Guard yourself against the failures as well, and then learn and adapt. So those were some results what they had. So with this yeah, so this is our last webinar. We'll post the complete full link for this webinar in the chat. So what happens next is something that we are going to find out today. So how they recovered from it and what they could have done. So Ravi, back to you.
Thank you, Nikhil. All right. So if you're interested in learning the backstory, then you can watch the recording of the webinar. So they did a retrospective and they said, okay, we're going to do something different this time. And they said, okay, let's try the three P's approach. So let's say they attended our webinar and they said, okay, we want to try the three P's approach. We want to define the purpose. We want to inspire our people. And we want to make sure that we can pay the bills. They started with a lightweight scoreboard, the profit map. So we'll show what the scoreboard was. So I created a canvas. Those of you, you probably created, used many canvases like the business model canvas. So this might seem familiar. The team is Team Optimus. They started with a company mission, company vision, values, goals. What are the market conditions? Product vision, team values, product goals. Nikhil was talking about orientation. It's important whether you use AI agents or whether you use human beings or a combination. You have to have clarity about the context in which the work is getting done. And whenever you start traveling down a path or considering some path, it might help if everybody is evaluating that path in from a shared context. So if I've worked in companies where even pre-AI, companies did not have this basic information answered, or sometimes we have these kickoff workshops where we or team building workshops where we answer these questions and then it's sitting in Confluence or SharePoint and nobody ever looks at it, so it's disconnected from the day-to-day operations. So I'm just reminding you, whether you're using AI agents or human beings or both, always evaluate every decision through the lens of your true north. So uh, one of the lessons that Colco learned from the retrospective was, don't forget your purpose. And the purpose was, we exist to make life better for our customers. So they remembered what Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets managed. So they started measuring what matters, which is the purpose. So they said, okay, let's define success in terms of customer benefits. So we want to help the customer save on their contact center payroll, increase the number of contacts, decrease escalations to humans, decrease wait time, increase the customer satisfaction or net promoter score, reduce complaints on social media. And the most important goal is customer renewals, because customers are going to pay with their credit card or their paycheck, or not the paycheck, sorry, their bank accounts. So ultimately, the true north is, we want happy customers because happy customers will renew. Then they said they backed in. Okay, so what needs to happen before customers renew? Well, they got to use the product. So you can deliver the best features or the highest number of features using AI faster, better, cheaper. But if customers are not using those AI features, what's the point? So you have to focus on customer adoption. Okay, what needs to happen before customer adoption? Well, you got to release the product. And you have to release it fast. I think in today's day and age, reducing the cycle time is probably not a big deal because with AI agents, you can release faster, better, cheaper. Your big problem might be in adoption because chances are, one of the things that Nikhil often says is just because we increased our ability to crank out more features, it doesn't mean that human beings who are at the receiving end of our features, they created a comparable increase in their ability to absorb change, especially if you don't communicate the change, if your features are not intuitive. You can release 1,000 features a day, but it might be overwhelming for the user. So, success, a prerequisite to customer renewals is customer adoption. So, don't define success based on the output, but define success in terms of outcome. So what needs to happen before you release your product? Well, these are more traditional metrics that we are probably tracking in Jira, Azure DevOps. Uh, how much effort is it taking per feature? What's the cost per feature? How many features are there in each release? And then before that, you have the product investment. So how much money are you spending for payroll, your contractors, your licenses, AWS hosting, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you take care of this part of the pipeline, then it's going to, and you take care of your customer will take care of your company. So your company costs might go down, your customer's NPS goes up, complaints against your company go down, your renewals go up, Qualco's company revenue goes up, and finally your investors are happy because the profit goes higher, valuation is higher, and the return of investment is higher. Whether it's a publicly traded company, privately held PE wants to flip it. Ultimately, this is what the investor wants. But you can't start here. A Qualco chooses to start here at number 4. This visual that you are seeing, I call it the profit map. I created this by combining many different ideas. If you're not using a scoreboard like this, I would strongly recommend that you consider it. Okay, so they define the success in terms of metrics. And now they ask AI to give them some suggestions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the control back to Nikhil, and maybe Nikhil, if you would like, you can set any context that you want to set about how you use this information, what LLM you used, and then you can tell me whether you would like to should I pass control to you or you want to just say next slide. Either way is fine by me.
Yeah, let's do the normal slides right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So what we are going to see are some variations of how we interact with AI. So the recap which we provided that, okay, what happened with Qualco, the pressure what they received from their customers, investors, board, stakeholders, other stakeholders, etc. And then what they try to do is like, so probably you might relate it to like something like the base version could be like something vibe coded, right? So like it looks like that, right? So they started with that kind of mode. So let's go to the next slide. So we'll see the first version when they just gave input that, okay, we need to reduce wait time to 0. And then the answers which they got now, you all know that, okay, the AI currently gives like descriptive paragraphs. You have to uh, read through it and dissect and extract information. So right now what I have done is like asked it to give it into tabular format, so we know, okay, what is the improvement and what's the plan. So what base level plan which we got is like, okay, yeah, you need to do triaging routing. So reduce the wait time by handling simple calls first. Then yeah, you need to give some assistance to the human agents. So there are some automations which can be done, and then self-service for common requests, right? So which are known kind of stuff. So those deflect simple issues. So your queues at least has something which someone needs to take a look at it, and rest all the noise is removed. So that's where they started. That's what they did initially, which resulted into other issues and etc. But what we are going to look at now is the profit map which Ravi was sharing. If we give that as a context, so let's go to the next slide and we'll see. So as soon as they give this profit map as a context, you'll see the way AI is talking, responding changes. Now it knows that, oh, my goal, company's goal is to reduce wait time. It needs to reduce the cost per contact. It has a pressure from investors to show AI adoption. Then there is a resolution speed. Then the renewals are my goals. Like that's my goal. So now it's using our long language, which we have set, which is helpful for our customers and board members and everyone within the company aware about it. So it's talking with that and then suggesting plans accordingly. So um, it's like we are helping AI to focus, give like focus areas where you it should put its effort rather than it's all over the place, right? So you all know that, okay, the more context which we give to AI agents, the better our answers. Now again, the bell curve and other things apply to the same, but yeah, we are still talking about the normal context here. So here, as you see, the last 2 points are more important. Due to profit map, it knows that renewals are important to the company. So that's why it has the specific that point about like human escalations and retention risk, enterprise cases. So those needs to be handled properly. So let's go to the next one, and we'll see we are giving more information to AI agent, where we have given exploratory questions which should um, enable that thinking mode within LLM. That okay, so that's fine, but then what I'm suggesting, how does it map to that profit map which is shared to me, or how we know that okay it's working, or what could go wrong, what else we should think of. So with this, it now it's not just single dimension. So there is a mapping, and as well as there is a cross dimension which is coming into picture. Where like okay, how we will measure it, how what could go wrong, and what else could we might be missing out. So this helps to get that response more structured and um, directed towards improving profit map. So let's look at what like the response got changed. So we'll have more details on that. Yeah. So the now it's basically grading all those. Now it, if we look at from the LLM perspective, it looks like evals kind of thing, where it's evaluating its output with respect to given rubrics. So the one of the question was like, oh, does it align with profit map? How do we know it works? And then the risk and other points. So all those points, the improvement points which we had, those are graded accordingly, and then the solution like will be formed based on those, like because renewals are our main goal here, and then rest all which are like the leading and lagging indicators way. So reduce wait time again, yeah. So handle simple calls and lower calls, like which don't have like which doesn't have major risk. And if it like the risk is like if it's a bad routing, so we can handle it. So what we need to watch out for is like the experience which users are going to get. So if we start doing bad routing, that experience is going to be bad. Um, so it's how we can lower the cost per contact. So like okay, so how we can add without adding headcounts, how we can scale the costs. So if you see those, that's how the answers are graded, responded, structured, uh, the way it's helpful for us to make that judgment call that okay, what makes better, as well as this also helps AI agents to have some decisioning around us. Um, yeah, so
So Nikhil,
that's like
yeah, I want to
yeah.
add something here. So I these this technique is based on the coaching technique of asking powerful questions. And I have used this in the pre-AI age when there was a lot of conflicts. I was working with a fintech client and there was a lot of conflict. There were hurt feelings. There were siloed efforts where every department is trying to optimize for their departmental metrics. And when we had a
Mhm.
scrum team, there was constant fighting between the ops team, the product management team, software development team, and so on. Why? Because each team was trying to optimize for the metrics in their performance bonus and in their departmental rating. So when so we became adversaries because we were looking at each other across the table and fighting with each other. And in the world of systems coaching, one technique that they offer is put the problem out in front. So what if we all stood shoulder to shoulder and instead of fighting with each other, we fought with the problem? One way to put the problem out in front is to remind people of the shared context. And the second
Yeah.
way to make people be curious and not furious is to ask open ended questions, because psychologically, the way the brain is wired is if you're angry, a different part of your brain is activated. And when that part of the brain is activated, we lose the capacity to be curious. So we as engineers of the space, the container inside of which problems are being solved, we have to understand group psychology and to use techniques which allow the whole system to tap into their curiosity and not their furiosity. And from my lived experience, I can tell you, if you have a shared purpose, if you elevate the purpose to the shared purpose, and then if you if you provide some open-ended questions, it reduces the risk of us behaving like animals who are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. So that's what we are trying to do here. uh, and there are some beautiful elements here. One of the things that Nikhil suggested was, what is the rollback plan? Very often, when we get excited with AI, we just assume everything's going to work perfectly and we don't watch out for the warning signs. And when the warning signs start showing up, we don't have a risk management plan. The risk became a reality because we were so excited with AI. We never thought it could go wrong and we didn't create a rollback plan. So that's why one of the things we added in the prompt was recovery. What's going to be the recovery plan? Okay. So now let's find out. So, Nikhil, back to you. If any closing thoughts on this section before.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add one point. So what you mentioned about those curious, open-ended questions, what I've seen often is LLMs also get into that bias mode that if they put out a solution, uh, then whatever we do, like they will still gravitate towards that. So what I've seen is if we start asking these open-ended questions, not challenging questions, but open-ended questions as well, the answers are really good, and that's a way to have that collaboration as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and that reminds me what Nikhil said. LLM can be very confident, and it gives you a polished answer. So you start believing, oh my God, this answer is so well polished, it must be right. But then when we are asking the LLM itself to critique its own answer and to acknowledge that there are risks with its answer, it's perfectly formatted, it's got great emojis and great font colors and whatnot. But then it makes us pause and it puts a speed breaker in our thinking to say, yes, this is a very well polished answer and there are risks. So now let me tap into human intelligence and community intelligence to complement the artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is providing a conversation starter. Now I got to complement it with human and community intelligence. All right. So now we come to the meat of this webinar. So when we started the journey of Qualco, the CEO is under tremendous pressure. The PE firm is saying, hey, we are shopping this firm around. New buyers are saying, what's your AI story? So you better give us an AI story or I'm going to fire you. Board of directors is saying, you give us an AI story or we'll fire you. The biggest customer we're calling it Guardian Telecom. They're saying, hey, give me an AI story or give me AI features, reduce the call time, or I'm going to fire you. So now the CEO is feeling squeezed, and the CEO passes on the pressure to the engineering team and says, hey, give me an AI feature, I'm going to fire you, right? So that is the context. And without psychological safety, you can't have innovation because everybody is optimizing for their personal goal, and there is no room to connect with the purpose of the company. So they say, let's try something different. So they want to redefine their purpose and they ask for help, and they get help from a very unlikely source, Michelangelo. So this is one of the most inspiring quotes I have heard from Michelangelo. I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. What if a lot of conflicts in our companies are because each human being comes to work with the sincere intent to do the best for the company, the investors, the customers, the users, the partners. But the angel that they see in the marble is different. So everybody is chipping this slab of marble, but everybody is trying to liberate a different angel. No wonder we have hurt feelings and siloed efforts and conflicts. So how can we begin with the assumption of positive intent and assume every human being in our company comes with sincere intent to do good? It's just that their version of good is different from other people's versions of good. And that's why there's conflict. So how might we reconcile these conflicts and carve until we all liberate, set the same angel free? So they start asking these questions. Again, a lot of open ended questions so we can be curious and not furious. So they start exploring these questions. Who do we serve? Why do we exist? What do we wish for them? How will their life be better because of us? Because of Colco and Colco Optimizer, the product that they are building. Why does it matter? Why is it important to make their life better? And what steps, what actions are we going to take to achieve our shared goal? What metrics or signs will tell us that we are successful? What happens if we hurt each other's feelings? What if we go into our silos? What if we disagree? How are we going to reconcile that? And what do we do next? So they start exploring these questions, and they discover that the angel in the marble is delivering a wonderful experience not to their customer, which is Guardian Telecom, who is buying Colco Optimizer to manage their contact center, but instead the customer's customer. And I'll tell you about the story. So the ideal customer profile of Guardian Telecom is a nurse, a busy working mom called Cassie. She's a nurse, and what the customer wants is they want to increase their renewals and they want to give such a wonderful experience to Cassie that Cassie renews her contract with Guardian Telecom, and then she goes and she brags about Guardian Telecom to all her friends, her family members, and she's like an influencer in her society, in her sphere of influence, and she brings a whole lot of new customers, and it's a virtuous cycle. So the first adjustment that Colco Optimizer makes is that they redefine success not as keeping the PE firm happy, not as keeping the board of directors happy, not keeping the CIO of their biggest customer happy or their CEO happy or not getting the engineering team fired. They say our shared goal is to make Cassie happy and to convert Cassie from our ideal customer, from our customer's ideal customer to our customer's ideal salesperson. Okay? And how do they do that? So now they use the purpose map. Purpose map is another canvas. I have based it on something from the world of design thinking called a journey map. And so I took inspiration from a Nielsen Norman blog, which we will share with you if this calls you. So in our purpose map, we humanize the person who we are trying to serve. That's Cassie. She's a nurse. She works in children's health. So here's the scenario. For many of us in the US, it's back to school time. Cassie has a daughter, Dottie. She just started middle school. And then on the first day, Cassie got late taking care of a patient. She got late and in the pickup line. And also there was a lot of confusion where to pick up Dottie. So now Dottie is panicking, Cassie is panicking because they can't find each other. And she decides, I think I need to get a cell phone for Dottie so that for pickup, she can find me. Her expectation is, I'm a busy nurse. I can't go to a brick and mortar store. I want to get a cell phone from the comfort of my home, probably late at night after Dottie's gone to sleep. I want to place the order and get it delivered. So that's the context. So Qualco Optimizer is defining success, the purpose of the software, the next release of the software in terms of Cassie's scenario and expectation. So now they create this journey map. They want to release any improvements, product or experience improvements. The purpose is to walk Cassie through this journey, the 7 step journey from need to becoming the best salesperson for their customer, which is Guardian Telecom. Okay. And then they try to use an empathy map to try and understand what kind of feelings, what kind of an experience do they want Cassie to have in each of these 7 steps. Because if this is a shared purpose, now they can execute to implement to achieve the purpose. And this is where it may help to avoid siloed thinking and hurt feelings, because we are all trying to define success not in terms of the success of our department or our personal performance bonus, but we are trying to define success in terms of Cassie. So I'm going to quickly walk through this. I'm not going to read everything, but you can kind of get a sense for this journey. So Cassie needs a new cell phone. She's seeing other children talking to their parents in the pickup line, and she says, "I'm going to just buy Dottie a phone." So in this moment, she's feeling like a horrible mom because she's panicking. So she starts doing research, and then she realizes, oh crap, if you give a phone to a middle schooler, you can expose the child to a lot of danger. So it's no longer just about pickup, being in the pickup line, being able to communicate each other. I got to keep my child safe. And then she says, okay, well, there are lots of providers for safe cell phones. So I've got, and I'm hearing about this company called Guardian Telecom. Maybe this is a possibility. So she creates a table comparing, contrasting all of the providers, and she says, I think Guardian is the best fit. She decides to purchase. Now, this is where she engages with the contact center. So she goes to the Guardian website. Maybe she starts with chat. Maybe then she picks up the phone and she talks to the contact center agent. And the contact center is being run by Qualco Optimizer. That's the context of our webinar. And she has such a wonderful experience. She doesn't have to wait too long. She's taken care with a lot of compassion. And she finishes the purchase. And now, every time when she has a question, there is a caring agent, a human being, who takes care of her. And so she says, wow, this company is awesome. I'm going to brag about this company to all of my family members, my friends, the other PTA people at the PTA, and everyone in my kids' class and school. And I'm going to try and bring them all to Guardian. So you noticed what happened where we defined success in terms of Cassie, and then everyone from different silos, different departments got together, including the CEO, and they said, this is what success means for us. And now they go back to AI and take this context, and they find out how might this change the responses of the AI and bring us all together. So Nikhil, anything you want to say to set up what's coming up next?
No, let's just directly jump in.
Okay.
So as we saw earlier, like it's a structured tabular output. Uh, Now here, this the response is more structured towards the user, the goal and the purpose that we are working towards. So it's talking about Cassie, that okay, what that end user needs to see. Like it's not just reduce wait time, but they need to have a lower wait time, faster support, and fewer abandons. So that's how it should be. Then if we talk about the cost, then it's less wasted effort rather than something else. Right. So it's talking in terms of the purpose, like customer needs to have the trust, and then it should not, like the escalation needs to be human, the answers have to be faster, and then we should reduce, like watch out for weak suggestions, so that the as we start executing this, as we start delivering this, the trust gets built, and the end customer who is using these tools they start trusting it as their advisor, and that's how the renewals are established, right? So for our end customer, so AI is using now the profit map, that okay, what business cares about, and then it also knows that okay, like which aspects of customer which we should care about. So it's about renewals. They want to get themselves unblocked. They don't care if it's AI or human agent or what kind of process it is. So Cassie is going through her, like she wants a solution for her problem and not AI or human. So if we can solve those questions, those problems for her, that's the better experience for Cassie. So that's how the AI is now formulating all the answers based on all this two additional contexts which are provided. So yeah, that's what it is about. Ravi, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I want to amplify what Nikhil said. So one of the things Nikhil was saying is that Cassie doesn't care whether you use AI or don't use AI. All Cassie wants is, I'm a busy mom, I have a problem, give me a solution. If you can solve my problem with AI, fine. If you can solve my problem with a human being, fine. I don't care. Just solve my problem. So I'll tell you a real world scenario. It was my wife's birthday, and my wife gave me an idiot proof link because I'm terrible at buying gifts. So she told me at least 1 week before her birthday, go to go to this store, I mean online store, and buy this product for me. So I'm a procrastinator. I waited till the last minute. I thought, "Wow, how big, how complex can it be?" So I placed the order. Order goes through. I get a confirmation email. And then 1 minute later, I get an email that your order has been canceled because of suspicious activity. So now I go back to the website and it says, "Do you want help?" I said, "Yeah, sure, I want help." So I start chatting, but now I'm chatting with an AI agent. And so I'm telling the agent, human being, human being. It won't let me talk to a human being. It says, "What's the order number?" I gave the order number. It says, "Your order has been cancelled for suspicious activity. Read this blog or read this article." And I say, "Agent, human being." And it says, "No, what's the order number?" So I'm willing to pay money. I want to pay money so I don't get in trouble with my wife. But AI is not letting me pay money. So I'm just trying to explain amplify what Nikhil said, that the customer, in this case, I was Cassie, I was the customer. I want to pay money, but their AI is refusing to allow me to give my money to their, to them, to the business. So something to think about. Customers probably don't care how you solve the problem. They just want you to solve the problem. So anyway, let's start summarizing the lessons which we want to share with you. So we made a promise. We'll give you 4 steps. Step 1, discover the angel in the marble, assume positive intent, uh, try to figure out uh, what is the angel people are trying to liberate, and then make sure that you align so that everybody is trying to liberate the same angel in the marble. Co-create the experience, co-create the metrics. We shared that in the profit scoreboard. And then make it inspiring for the people. So when people have hurt feelings, when they get retreat into their silos, remind them we exist to serve Cassie. And if you're not inspired by serving Cassie, this may not be the right company for you. Maybe you got to go find a different company where you are inspired by the purpose. Make it payable and profitable. So you've got to keep the lights on, you got to make payroll, you got to pay the bills, you got to make a profit if you're a for-profit company. So using the scoreboard, make sure whatever path you're traveling on, it's financially viable. And then use alignment prompts. So whatever idea either human beings are coming up with or agents are coming up with, always look at those, evaluate those ideas, or look at them through the lens of your purpose. So we gave you 2 techniques, the purpose map, the profit map. Just because somebody is eloquent and polished, whether it's a human being or whether it's AI, don't assume that polish means it's effective. So build critical thinking speed bumps into your process, whether the suggestion is coming from you, from a fellow human being, or an agent. Ask these questions. How is this aligned? So again, we are putting the problem out in front. We are disengaging the curiosity and engaging curiosity. We can get triggered if somebody calls our baby ugly. So we are trying to use these questions to disengage curiosity and engage curiosity. How is this aligned with the purpose and profit? Conversely, how is it not? Because I want to be able to be a critical thinker and critique my own baby. And these are the metrics. How will we know that it's working? Empirical evidence. What evidence will show me that this approach is working? This is acknowledging that things could go wrong. And if it does go wrong, what are the warning signs that our risk is becoming a reality? And then how do we recover? And what are we not thinking of? So it creates critical thinking. So we have some references. If any of these ideas resonate with you, what we'll do is Nikhil has already put them, thank you so much, in the chat window. And then what we want to do, and if you want some help, we'd love to help you out. You can request a free diagnostic session or a brainstorming session. And let's start wrapping up. So we made some promises to you in the beginning. We said by the end of the webinar, we'll give you 4 steps to align hybrid teams. We think we did that. We said we'd give you references. We did that. We said we would let you give you an option to get more help. We just did that. So I hope we kept our promise. We have a few minutes to do Q&A. So if you have any questions, please share them either in the chat or the Q&A panel. And also, we would love your feedback in terms of what resonated, what confused. So any and all feedback is welcome. So what questions can we answer, or what do you know now that you didn't know at the start of the webinar that may help you align hybrid teams of AI agents and people towards a shared purpose? And while you're thinking, I want to answer one question. So there was an RSVP after I created the list of questions, and that question on Meetup was that developers feeling their expertise is being displaced or devalued when an agent is framed as a teammate on the org chart. So I think this is powerful when a human being is made to feel you are less than or an agent, or you are the same as an agent. I know it would hurt my feelings that, come on, I have wisdom and experience that probably no agent in the world will ever have, because I have lived experience that is not part of any LLM. So it's very dehumanizing to tell people, no, you can be replaced by an agent. Agent is better than you. So my advice to that, and I'd love to hear from Nikhil, is tell people that your wisdom and your intelligence is more powerful than any artificial intelligence. And we want to use your community intelligence, your lived experience, to improve what is suggested by the agent. So the agent can never replace you, it will never replace you, because you're smarter than the agent. So, or if that's not true, then you have to come up with another answer, which we can discuss in the next webinar. Nikhil, what would you like to add? How have you navigated? Because you're the CTO, you have people who report into you. Have you noticed this? How do you navigate this?
So definitely this comes up quite often now, and this is something which I have like even shared with my team, that look, people no longer compare you with other human being, but rather they compare you with other agent. But where you differ is, like, whatever experience you have been accumulating experiences throughout that. Like, so you might have had conversations with, let's say, some retail business, and then you learn something from that. So maybe like you had a bad call, like some bad build, etc., or like a lot of, like, even our life. So those add up, and it's not it's not always easy, or it's not always going to be possible in some cases that AI agents are going to have that immediately. So over iterations, like, because even they are doing learning, right? So as we start interacting, there is a learning loop which is happening, and then they are learning from that how to interact with you as well. So be curious, ask questions, try to have conversations with humans, understand why they are doing it, you do the same with AI agents, you might be able to get them working more. So one thing is, instead of looking at as a replacement, probably it's a peer collaborator with whom you will be working, or in some cases it's going to be your reportee, could be that AI agent. So you need to step up and then be able to direct these tools that way.
Yeah. And two thoughts, Nikhil, based on what you just said. The AI is going to be learning if I learn faster than the AI, because there are things that I will see before anybody feeds it into an LLM. So if I can see how are my customers and users responding to our AI features, and if I learn faster than the AI, maybe I have a value add.
No, I won't say that. AI is much faster to learn. The reason is it can run 24 hours, right? So it's not going to get tired, going to have a coffee break or something. It's going to learn, but connecting those dots from the human angle, that's not going to be possible.
Yeah,
So we will be able to do that, and that's where that like you might be seeing uh, discussions happening on that test being our main skill, human skills. So that's where everything is focused as well. So
yeah,
like, is it enough? uh, AI agents can't take that call, right? Is it good enough? So humans can take have that judgment, and is it good
yeah.
enough for this user experience? That way.
Yeah, maybe I should change the seeing other human beings. So what I see, which has not yet been fed into any LLM, what I hear, which has not been fed into any LLM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially non-verbal communication. So let's say I go to a customer site and I'm observing the customers. There is no meta camera recording every expression, micro expression change. I am seeing something that no AI in the world, no LLM has. Can I convert what I see, what I hear, what I sense into intelligence and feed that back? As long as I can do that, I'm ahead of any LLM in the world. Uh, and I think one of the things, Nikhil, you said was the day AI agents came into the workplace, everybody became a team lead. So now you became a team lead and you have this person or this direct report who never sleeps, who's never hungry, who works 24 by 7. So you need a new skill set. How do you make use of this new
Yep.
direct report so you maximize the ROI? All right. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, I'd love to see you come back next time. If you didn't, I apologize. Give us feedback so we can do better. I want to give you a couple of minutes back in case you can recharge. Hope to see you next time. And if you have any feedback, would love to hear from you or to help you. So next event, 18 prompts to design team culture. Hope to see you there. Have a wonderful day or evening and hope to see you again. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.